In today's episode of the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast, me and Tyler go over the Cam Akers injury, Xavier Jones or Darrel Henderson. Who should he grab? We go over Michael Thomas injury. Is Marquez Callaway the guy, or are we going Tre'Quan Smith? And just overall, we're going to go over some training camp news. Terrace Marshall Jr., Irv Smith, Zack Moss or Devin Singletary, Deshaun Watson possibly traded. That could be cool, interesting. Anthony Miller, what we think, him going to the Texans, and much, much more. So stay tuned. This is a great episode. Training camp news, August 11th, 2021. Bing, bing, bong. Starting, maybe this is so weird starting differently. Okay, everything's going, so go ahead. We got Cam Akers totally snaps his Achilles. I don't know if it was a complete sever or whatnot.
A sever.
Yeah.
He severed my heart.
But we had a lot of excitement actually on one of our predictions episode. We talked about Cam Akers, and actually a couple comments were talking about this prediction totally went off the rails, the first one, because the first one we talked about was Cam Akers and how we loved him this year, and then the Achilles tendon injury was pretty shitty. What do you make of the whole thing?
Yeah, I mean that bold prediction didn't age well at all. But yeah, my bold prediction was Cam Akers would be a top 5 running back this season. I mean, I loved Cam Akers and what he, kind of showed and what he flashed towards the tail end of the season last year. If you go check out that bold prediction episode, it's in there. You can kind of see the numbers that, he put up, which was really impressive. So, yeah, it's just unfortunate. I mean, the guy gets hurt. It's part of the game. Like Mike said, it's Achilles. So now, who do the reins turn to, and it's the main name that keeps popping up is Darrell Henderson. Bam. Third-year running back out of Memphis. He should be the starter for the guys, for the Rams. But I'm not sure that they just give him the full workload like they would have done Cam Akers over there. I think this is going to be more of a running back by committee. I know it's just training camp talk, and you got to take it with a grain of salt. But Sean McVay's come out and said that this is going to be kind of a committee here. You got to think too. The season is one game longer, so that's just these coaches are really going to have to manage these players and make sure that they can sustain a full, 17 game now season, 18 weeks, but 17 games total. Games, yeah. Plus, if you make the playoffs, I mean, you're looking at you could potentially be playing, 18 to 20 games or more. So, I find it hard to believe that they're just going to give Darrell Henderson the quote unquote Cam Akers role in that workload. I mean, right now he's going in the 5th round. He's coming off the board as RB27. I mean, what do you feel about him, Mike? You like it? Or?
It's a little too high for me, to be honest. Like, we've seen the workhorse role go with the Rams when Todd Gurley was there back in the day, but I ever since then, I really haven't seen it happen. Towards the tail end of last year, we saw Cam Akers kind of get it, and it gets you excited. You're like, oh, a workhorse role back in LA. Like, this is the old Gurley days. You get all types of excited, but then you got to remember, all throughout the season, before they were for sure with Cam Akers, you had no idea who was going to get the reps week in and week out. It was very frustrating because I was high on Cam Akers last year. So that being said, man, like I'm not willing to put my 5th round pick into Darrell Henderson at this point. It's just there. I'm looking elsewhere. I'm going to try and take some running backs earlier, and then possibly get some wide receivers, maybe in that area, or even maybe take a tight end. I don't know if I would take Darrell Henderson in the 5th round. It's a little too much for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's kind of appropriately priced in there in that 5th, 6th round range. Am I going to have a lot of shares of Darrell Henderson? Probably not. I'm probably going to have 0 shares of Darrell Henderson. I'm not excited about that. Yeah, I mean, the guy's talented, but I mean, like a short, stocky guy. I think he's like 5'8", 210. So we even saw him last year get a little banged up here and there. Like I said, it's a long season, adding the extra game as well. So, yeah, I'm not sure how much I'll have there. And then I'm not sure, they go out and they trade for Matt Stafford, who is obviously, at least in their eyes, and in probably most people's eyes, an upgrade from Jared Goff.
Definitely.
So for them to go out and trade him for Stafford, I would like to think that this team might go away from that run-heavy approach that they had back in the day with Gurley, and they might be a little bit more pass-heavy, especially now with Cam Akers going down. They might really lean on the pass a lot more than the run game as they did in the past. But the one guy who I am going to be taking a shot on, I'm probably going to have a ton of shares of him, is Xavier Jones, second-year running back out of SMU.
This is the reason too. By the way, with Darrell Henderson going in the 5th round, there's just you could get like this is like you always say 1A 1B. You can get Xavier Jones way later, right?
Yeah, he's coming off the board in the 12th round. He's running back 53 right now, and I would be willing to bet my dick that he outperforms running back 53.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, this is a prime example of what I'm talking about. It's like you're literally like taking the biggest swing on Darrell Henderson when you don't even know what's going to happen. People can say in training camp this is going this. Like you just told me N'Keal Harry was doing well in training camp, but it's like until I see it in the regular season, I don't know if I can trust that, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, we got preseason starting this week. You know, the Hall of Fame game was last weekend, and you got the actual official week 1 of preseason starting. So, like I said, Xavier Jones right now going to the 12th round, second year running back. But all it takes is a couple flashy runs in preseason, and I will see Xavier Jones' stock jump up. And that's kind of what I'm banking on, or what I would assume would happen. You know, Sean McVay even came out and said, you know, because they asked him, you know, hey, do you want to go out and sign one of these veteran running backs, add some more depth to the team? And he pretty much said, like, no, like I like what I got. I like Darrell Henderson, and I like Xavier Jones, and Xavier Jones has been flashing in training camp. So, yeah, I'm going to have a lot of Xavier Jones, not so much Darrell Henderson. Not that I'm doubting Darrell Henderson, but in that 5th round, there's just other players that I think I would be more comfortable with taking, especially when I like the latter of the two in Xavier Jones. And I know I can get him, you know, several rounds later after Darrell Henderson.
Yeah, I'm not even like, oh, I like Xavier Jones better. It's just that the price point, that's the biggest defector for me. Defector? Yeah. I don't know if I used that right. Yeah. I don't think I did. But anyways. By the way, what you're talking about, the Jared Goff, Matt Stafford thing, did you ever see the Matt Stafford, who was it? Some defensive player or linebacker or something went from L.A. to Detroit. Yeah. He was all excited. He's like, yeah, it's dope. We got a better quarterback, blah, blah, blah. And then or something happened, and then he got traded to Detroit, something like that. Oh, he ended up back on the team with Jared Goff.
Yeah, I think I saw, he's like, oh, yeah, it's a huge upgrade from – Stafford's a huge upgrade from Goff. And then a week later, they traded him to the Lions.
He's like, what's up? What's up, dog?
No, I didn't mean it.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we go on to the next one, the next training camp news.
Yeah. So, like I said, you know, it's drafts. Draft season is among us. You know, you got week 1 of preseason starting this week. And, you know, obviously right now we're just going over some training camp news. But, you know, we got a lot of content coming out. You know, we're going to start doing some mock drafts. I know a lot of people were pretty big fans of those mock drafts that we did last season. So if you want to be in one of these mock drafts with us, you know, just shoot us a DM, you know, throw a comment in there.
Whatever.
And, you know, we'll pick some people and we'll throw you in the mock draft with us. I think, you know, that is ideally the best way to kind of get a good strategy of, you know, what to expect when you come into these drafts. Yeah, we're going to go over some episodes where we go over rookies to know. I mean, obviously, Dynasty is a big thing with rookies. But, I mean, each and every year, you know, in redraft leagues, you're going to have rookies that just come out of nowhere or rookies that you should know and keep an eye on. You know, look at Justin Jefferson, for example, last year, a rookie that, you know, most people probably didn't even know about if you weren't too big into fantasy football. But if you knew who Justin Jefferson was and you drafted him, I mean, you hit the jackpot there. And, you know, there's going to be a couple players who could be potentially this year's Justin Jefferson. You know, we're going to go over players that we love, players that we're fading at their ADP, going over crowded backfields and who we'd prefer in those backfields and crowded wide receivers. You know, you got the Bengals over there, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. You know, which Bengals wide receiver do you like? You know, just some segments like that. So, you know, draft season's here, like I said, and, you know, this is what we're here for. We're here to help you guys win your championship, bring home that chip.
Yeah, so if you like any of this content, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already.
Hit that like button.
Yeah, do all that, baby. All right, let's go on to the next one.
Let's do it.
Here we got Saquon Barkley. What is it, 3 weeks?
So, yeah, I did a poll on the Instagram. You go follow it right there. You see the links over here off to the side, actually, over here. Instagram down there on the bottom. At AVG Fantasy Football. We did a poll over there, and I pretty much just said, hey, like if Saquon falls to you at a certain point, would you be willing to draft him or not? And it was pretty much dead even. I mean, it was like 50-50. So you got some people who are believing him. I'm one of the believers. And you got some people who just they don't want anything to do with it. Obviously he tears his ACL in week 2 last year, so he's pretty much had a whole year almost to come back. They're saying that him coming back week 1 isn't out of the realm of possibility. Week 3 would be the latest that he would come back and actually play. But right now he's going off the board at number 7 overall. So let's say right there you got the 6th pick. Are you taking Saquon Barkley? Like what pick do you feel comfortable taking Saquon Barkley at?
Yeah, I like him. I like him there. That's fine. I will still take a shot on Saquon. I know it sounds crazy. Fuck. I don't know. 6. Where? Yeah, I would still take a shot on him, to be honest.
I mean, I'm all in on Saquon still. If there's a guy who can come back from an ACL, and I mean, just look at a guy like AP, came off an ACL and rushed for 2,000 yards. Now, I'm not saying Saquon Barkley's going to come out and rush for 2,000 yards, but I mean, Saquon Barkley, his rookie year, he put up ridiculous numbers. I mean, I want to say it was like, don't quote me on this, but like 1,400 rushing yards. He had like 93 receptions. A fuck ton of touchdowns. Wins rookie of the year, obviously.
He was like, there's a lot of rookies that come out and there's kind of like expecting that year. It's like you want that rookie Saquon year. That's kind of the mold. That's like what you want. Like that everybody wanted out of Clyde Edwards, and that's what you got out of Saquon. So it's like the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, bro, and I fucking love pudding, dude.
Oh, I love it, dude. Banana cream pie.
Ugh, gross.
No, I'm just kidding.
Chocolate.
But yeah, I mean, if there's the guy who I'm not going to doubt, it's not going to be Saquon Barkley. One thing I do like about this Giants offense, they've pretty much loaded up and they've given Danny Dimes every opportunity to succeed. And if Danny Dimes can't get it done this year, then they're probably just going to have to move on from him next year. But, I mean, they get their starting left tackle back, Nate Soldier. They drafted a lineman in the first round last year out of Georgia. They go out and they get Kenny Golladay, who was the number 1 wide receiver in free agency this year. They go out and they trade or they sign John Ross in free agency. I know it's John Ross and he hasn't really, panned out to be that, top 10 pick that he was with the Bengals. But, I mean, the guy's still a speedster, 4.2 speed who can stretch the field. Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram. They get Kyle Rudolph, who's a good, just savvy veteran who's also a good blocker. So I think this Giants offense is going to be pretty good. So you're not going to be able to stack the box on Saquon. Is he going to see 90 receptions like he did again when he was a rookie? Maybe not, but I'm willing to take a shot on Saquon here. But, I mean, obviously we'll go through the running backs here. You got Chris McCaffrey going 1, Dalvin Cook right now, number 2. These are half-point PPR on Fantasy Football Calculator. You got Derrick Henry at 3, Alvin Kamara at 4, Zeke at 5, Chubb at 6, and Saquon Barkley at 7. After that, you have Aaron Jones, Jonathan Taylor, and Austin Eckler, and Najee Harris. So, yeah, I'm definitely taking Saquon Barkley over all those guys. And, honestly, I think I might take Saquon Barkley over Nick Chubb just because you still have Kareem Hunt over there.
I was thinking the same thing, too. Nick Chubb is
really good,
a monster, though, I will say. It's like it is like kind of splitting hairs. With the injury, yeah. The thing is, if you grab Saquon at that position, you almost have to grab another running back in the next round. I mean, you don't necessarily have to, but you really have to like think in the back of your head, like, hey, I could possibly not have this guy for a couple weeks. So
yeah,
definitely keep that in mind when you go into the next rounds. If you do take our advice and snag on Saquon.
Yeah, I mean, I know the coming off the ACL injury is question for concern, but I mean, you got Dalvin Cook here at number 2 overall, right behind CMC. And, I mean, that guy, we were just talking about it off air. I mean, you want to talk about high risk, high reward. I mean, Dalvin Cook, obviously one of the better running backs in the NFL. But to me, that guy's has just as good a chance of getting hurt as Saquon does. And I know Dalvin Cook's good, and I'm not taking anything away from him. But, prime Saquon versus prime Dalvin Cook, give me Saquon Barkley all day. So, yeah, I think number 6 is pretty much, where I would take him right there. I mean, obviously depending, too, if it comes to the point where maybe you want to take Devontae Adams, maybe you want to take a Stephon Diggs, if you have him as your number 1.
I can understand grabbing
Devontae Adams. Or a Kelsey, right there. But, yeah, I do like Saquon Barkley, and I am going to be taking my shots on him. I'm in a keeper league, and he's going to be my keeper.
For sure. Even, when did you get him, last year?
So we do a keeper league where
because I'm just trying
that player, you have to keep that player the whole year, and you have to keep that player in the round that you.
Well, but he was going in the first round his rookie year.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just keep him in the first round. Hopefully, I get a later pick. Like hopefully, I get like the 12th pick. Okay, that would be ideal to get the 12th pick, because then my 12th pick would be Saquon Barkley.
Got you. Yeah, that's why I was just confused because he's a first rounder.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, still take him. We want to move on to the next one here.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about Michael Thomas. I know some of these injuries are a little bit older, but we're gonna go over them anyways, because there is some news coming out on these training camps that can affect these injuries. So,
yeah. So maybe it's just me, but I feel like Michael Thomas is like the TO of like the new era. He's like the prima donna baby.
Yeah.
Of all the wide receivers. Obviously, you have some diva wide receivers like Odell and stuff like that, but I don't know what it is. Michael Thomas, I mean, remember, a year or two ago?
No, that's because he got into it
with
–
Devontae Parker got into like some
that's
Twitter
why,
beef or whatever it was.
Yeah, because he got into it with Devontae Parker and you're a Dolphins fan.
No, but also they were saying how he ghosted the whole Saints organization for 3 months. I guess Sean Payton and everyone was trying to get a hold of him. For 3 months, they couldn't get a hold of Michael Thomas.
Well, that's like he's kind of like Kevin Durant on Twitter, you know?
Yeah.
He like replies to everything. You could tell like this fool reads all the comments and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he'll be in people's comments like that. It's kind of you heard Kevin Durant's like that.
Yeah. So
he has like fake profiles.
We did the buy the dip episode, and he was one of my players where it was buy the dip because for his price, I think he was going in the 3rd round at that time. I just thought it was a steal. I mean, obviously we don't know if it's going to be Taysom Hill at quarterback. We don't know if it's going to be Jameis Winston. But if you go look at the numbers, go watch that episode where we talk about Michael Thomas on buying the dip. Those guys knew who the best player on the field was or the best wide receiver on the field was, and that's Michael Thomas. And, they weren't shy at targeting him. He was getting 8, 9, 10 targets a game with Taysom Hill, and, Jameis Winston was out there. So I wasn't really concerned about, the lack of targets for a guy like Michael Thomas there. But, he ends up hurting the ankle. He has surgery on it. He's supposed to be out 5 to 12 weeks. That was a couple weeks ago. So they're slating his return to be around week 4 to 7. So, I mean, you're going to miss, 25% of the season, 30% of the season.
Yeah, that's
his ADP slipped to about like the 5th round. He's coming off the board as the wide receiver number 15. I mean, are you still buying the dip now, or because I think after this I might have to retract my statement.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not touching. I mean that's so far in the season. Like, would you take Darrell Henderson or Michael Thomas?
I mean, at that point, it's like give me a guy who can play.
Yeah,
give me a guy who's going to be able to get me some fantasy points. Michael Thomas is nice, but when he's on the bench for 5 weeks, 6 weeks potentially.
I think it will slip even further.
Yeah,
I think it will slip way further, and it will totally makes it that. What's the round you would take Michael Thomas?
It just depends because like he is coming off the ankle, so obviously he's not going to be like in prime football shape when he comes back. He's still going to have to get back into that that the 100% shape, and then also there's a lot of rumors that he's just not happy with the organization. Like I said, I mean he's ghosting him for 3 months. There's rumors coming out that he wants to be traded. He's requesting a trade after he just got paid $100 million or whatever it was. So I'm one of those guys where when there's just a lot of negativity surrounding a player, a lot of arrows trending down, I'll try to just personally avoid them. I mean, so there's just a lot of arrows.
Okay, 10th round
trending down. I mean, obviously 10th round, you're going to take a shot.
That's
on
what
him.
I'm saying.
Yeah, but I don't think he lasts to the 10th round. I mean, but he's going around guys like Amari Cooper, Robert Woods, Chris Godwin, Cooper Kupp, Deontay Johnson, Allen Robinson, CeeDee Lamb. Those are the guys he's going around, and it's like, okay, obviously I'm not going to take him over any of those guys. Especially when he could miss, several weeks.
Well, he could finish. He could possibly win you your championship, though. That's my only thing. So it's like, what round are you gonna sit on a player all year for him to fucking possibly come in and win you the plaplayoffs or win? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. It'd be.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I think if it goes
round, maybe. I think depending it's gonna get to the point to where we get to. Let's see, maybe the 7th round where you get to these players where it's like, okay, now I'm taking the second wide receiver on the team. I'm taking the wide receiver 2 on their own team. I'm taking a Chase Claypool. I'm taking a Cortland Sutton, a DJ Chark. Maybe even a Juju Smith-Schuster. I guess I'd rather take a Michael Thomas just because of the upside of a top 10 potential that he offers. Maybe I'll take a shot on him instead of taking a guy who I know ceiling is maybe top 20.
Right.
That's maybe where I consider it.
Because Michael Thomas can put you up 20, 30-point games possibly in full point PPR if he comes back in. So that was my only thing. I think double-digit rounds, you're fucking high if you don't grab him. I think
I don't think he makes it to double-digit rounds.
I think in some home leagues he's going to slip, and because people's rankings are going to be all different now.
Yeah.
ESPN's is going to change, and I do think that if you're in your home league, especially in like a live draft or something like that, RP, if we even do those anymore because of COVID, but I think at that point you could definitely get Michael Thomas in those super later rounds, because I think people are just going to totally forget about him, or you could have some numbnuts that doesn't know he's injured and grabs him in the second round.
That for sure is going to happen.
Yeah, that will definitely happen in some leagues too. But if everybody's pretty informed in your league, I could definitely
or
see him.
Or if you listen to this podcast, you'll be informed.
Yeah. So if I'd say yeah, I think that's good. Is like 7th or 8th round. I would say 8th round and below, or above, whatever you want to say, 8, 9, 10, 11, any of those rounds, you got to grab Michael Thomas.
Yeah. Yeah, so, obviously, if he's going to be out for a couple weeks, they got to throw the ball to somebody over there. There's a couple names that have been popping up. But you got Marquez Callaway out of Tennessee. You were talking to me about him off the air, but he's been generating a lot of hype out of the training camp so far.
Yeah, I was looking at some tape, and then you hear the co-sign from Emmanuel Sanders said, "Look out! You people don't know this guy's name, but you're going to." Yeah. He said in like a press conference. So I like Marquez Callaway. He's got some good tape. I've seen it, and yeah, man, like I like it, but I still don't think. I think that there's like a lot of politics with people when they get drafted, or if they get drafted, they just don't like. We have friends in the league too, actually. You know what I mean? Like family friends that like they haven't even gotten the opportunity, but like they really are. They have just as much skill as people that are in there. It's just because they didn't get drafted, whatever. So because of that, I think that it's going to take a while for Marquez Callaway to like actually show up and like put up some real numbers for your fantasy team. So I would say there's two guys, and I would not be taking Marquez. I would take the other guy over this guy.
Yeah, so Marquez going in the 14th round right now. He's coming off as wide receiver number 63 off the board. These guys are, they're kind of like lottery picks. They're late round picks that, could potentially, boom for you. But, one of these guys, you're saying like Marquez Callaway or the next guy we're going to talk on, they're going to be like a Russell Gage type of player where they're going to see 90 to 100 targets, especially if there's no Michael Thomas for 5 to 6 weeks. They have to throw the ball to somebody. And outside of Marquez Callaway, you got Tre'Quan Smith, and you got, Adam Trotman at the tight end position, who I'm just not sold on. I don't think he's going to be, a guy who demands a ton of targets. No more Jared Cook there. He's with the Chargers now. You got, I think it's Deontay Harris, short little kind of like shiftier guy. Marquez Callaway is going to get some targets, and you got the next guy, Tre'Quan Smith. These guys are going to get targets. So a buddy of ours, actually, we do the fantasy league for a couple years, working over at Marquee with us. Every time I see him, he's just like, Tre'Quan Smith, man, Tre'Quan Smith, I'm telling you. And I know he's a Saints fan, and, obviously, you're going to beat your own drum when that's your team. But, he keeps telling me Tre'Quan Smith. I'm telling you, sleeper. Michael Thomas is hurt, and sending me all these videos of Jameis Winston doing all these crazy workouts, and he was saying how Jameis Winston flew out Tre'Quan Smith. He was like, "Hey, I'll fly you out. I'll pay for your hotel. Just come out here and come work with me. Let's get some reps in." So, if Jameis Winston is the quarterback, I think it's going to be Tre'Quan Smith, who's the guy I'm taking a late round stab on, to be the kind of basically the what's it called when what's it called in the UFC when you're not the champion, but you're just like you hold the belt while the champion's out?
Fuck. I know what you're talking about. This is one of those things where
you were brave for it, yeah.
Well, because you said it, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden I can't.
But yeah, basically what I'm saying is like he'll be like the Michael Thomas, and he'll be like the number one wide receiver on the team, Tre'Quan, until Michael Thomas comes back. I forget what the term is, but yeah, so I'll be taking a shot on Tre'Quan. He's going off on the board in the 14th round right now as wide receiver 61. So they're pretty much right next to each other, Tre'Quan and Marquez Callaway. Like I said, it's a late round lottery pick. You take a shot on one of these guys. They're depth picks, and if they hit, good. If not, you could always just dump them and throw them on the waiver wire.
Totally. Yeah, I would like Tre'Quan Smith. Did you say what his ADP is?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna go for Tre'Quan Smith, but I don't mind wide receiver 63. That's not hard to beat. You know what I mean? If you're drafting Marquez Callaway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good stuff. Let's move on to the next part of training camp news. We got Brandon Aiyuk.
We got to load that sound.
Aiyuk. I got to put it back in. Yeah.
But I know Anthony would love this one if he was here. But just basically, a lot of beat writers have been saying that Brandon Aiyuk has been like the favorite target in training camp, and that's including George Kittle. They say Brandon Aiyuk has just been like a target machine. I know Anthony loves Brandon Aiyuk. I think all of us over here, me, Anthony, you, Mike, and Andre himself, I think we all are big Brandon Aiyuk fans.
Brandon Aiyuk fans for sure.
So it's just reassuring to hear, hey, this guy's been, killing it in camp, and all the quarterbacks have been pretty much peppering him with targets. He's going in the 6th round right now, 7th round. He's coming off the board as wide receiver 26. I think that's a steal right there. He'll probably be one of those guys where, depending on who's there, I might even be, obligated to take him around early just to make sure I get him. He might, I know Anthony would probably agree with that. Like, hey, instead of maybe hoping he falls to me in the 6th round, let me just grab him in the 5th round because I love this guy and I love the potential, what he can offer. Maybe top 20. Let me just go out and get him in the 5th round. That way I know I have him instead of hoping he slips to me in the 6th round.
Yeah, totally. Brent. Yeah, I don't even know what to say here because I'm 100% with you on that one.
Yeah.
Brandon freaking Aiyuk, dude. You can't freaking beat it. Trey Lance has been killing it in training camp also. They've been making a little bit of rapport, baby. And that's what I like to see.
Yeah. Draft Brandon Aiyuk. Thank us later.
Draft him. That's all we always say. Draft him.
Thank us later.
Yeah.
Quick and easy on that one.
Yeah, there we go. Let's go into you were talking about Irv Smith has just been killing it in training camp. That's what all the reports are saying. Yeah, do you still it's just I don't get excited about drafting Minnesota players too much. Actually, there's actually a lot of Minnesota is a high scoring team. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Now that I'm thinking about it.
But no, yeah, I like Irv Smith. It's haven't done the tight end rankings yet, but this guy's going to be in my top 10. And, on Fantasy Football Calculator and Half Point PPR, they have him as the tight end 15 right now. I think you're just doing a mock draft on Fantasy Pros. I think he was the tight end 13 or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. To me, I just, I think this guy's got top 10 upside on him. And, he's going in the 12th, 13th round. And I just think that is ridiculous. And that's a steal. I definitely think that's going to be jumping up the closer we actually get to draft season. But, obviously, you have Justin Jefferson there who's a lot of people as a top 10 wide receiver. You still have Adam Thielen there, a savvy veteran. But outside of that, they really have nobody else in terms of the pass, pass totally. Catcher. They get rid of Kyle Rudolph. So, just the reports. And, again, you got to take it with a grain of salt. The beat writers always, maybe they're just hyping up the players in training camp. But, the reports are that Irv Smith has just been a red zone monster. And, one thing that I've personally have found is that, if a tight end can get you 6-7 touchdowns, that tight end's going to be a top 10 tight end. It's just because tight ends don't get 6-7 touchdowns. It's very uncommon. So if you can get a tight end who has that type of upside, which, a guy who's killing it in the red zone, sign me up all day. I just think Irv Smith is highly being slept on. I'm going to have a ton of shares of Irv Smith, especially if his ADP stays as low as it is.
Let's go into Terrace Marshall Jr. Carolina Panthers. What's happening? What's the haps?
Yeah. So just another guy who's getting a lot of praise out of training camp. Like I said, we're going to do an episode of rookies that you need to know for redraft leagues, and this is going to be one of the rookies that I think you're going to need to know who his name is. Right now he's going undrafted, but I think as we get closer to draft season, a couple weeks or two preseason, maybe he makes a couple splash plays, touchdown here and there. That ADP is going to jump up, and he'll start getting drafted in these later rounds. But pretty much the reports are coming out saying they're just giving him a crash course on becoming the number 3 wide receiver. And I know that doesn't sound like much, but You have DJ Moore there as the 1. Robbie Anderson's like the 1B. But Matt Rule in that offense, they're going to run a lot of three. They're going to run a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. So they're basically grooming Terrace Marshall Jr., the rookie out of LSU, who's tall and fast. And we were kind of joking around it when we did the rookie episode of going over the receivers. We were kind of saying, is LSU kind of like wide receiver you? You have Terrace Marshall coming out. You had DJ Chark was from there. You had obviously Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Landry, Odell, just a couple guys to throw out there. So you got some good players coming out of LSU that are, performing pretty good at the next level in the NFL. But yeah, I love Terrace Marshall. I think the guy's super talented. I'm not a big Sam Darnold fan when he was on the Jets, but by his lucky grace, he's escaped the grasp of the Adam Gase curse. And now with Matt Rule, who's obviously a better offensive coach than Adam Gase, I think Sam Darnold has, the best opportunity he's had, at least in the NFL, to kind of really show what he's made of and why he was, a top, 5 pick or whatever he was.
There seems like there's like a lot of hate on Sam Darnold too, and it's just I feel like it's undeserved also. Like I feel like people are saying that he's not going to do as well as Teddy Bridgewater, all this stuff, and like I don't know.
Sometimes too, I feel like most people don't think about it, but bro, when you go to one of these like big organizations, LA, New York, Chicago, and you're supposed to be like the face of the franchise. You're supposed to be the savior. It's a lot of pressure, especially for a
Jets
21-year-old kid.
Jets fans are so like I don't know. People from New York, they're just fucking jagoffs. Dude.
There's just a lot of pressure to put on a 21-year-old kid. To kind of be the saving grace. And if they don't perform, then you say, you're getting a lot of haze and shade thrown at you. So I think going down to Carolina, the pressure will be a little more lax on him, and he'll be able to really show what he wants to do over there. But yeah, I love Terrace Marshall, another guy who I'll be drafting in a ton of leagues in like the later rounds. Just a good depth pick there. And then God forbid, knock on wood, if anything ever happens to DJ Moore or Robbie Anderson, I think he immediately would get a huge uptick in targets and be like a solid wide receiver 3 flex guy on a week-to-week basis. So yeah, I love Terrace Marshall Jr. I think he is one of the better wide receivers to come out in this draft class. And I think he's getting slept on. A guy that most people, your average, person who plays fantasy football probably doesn't even know about.
That's good. Rookie you need to know, Terrace Marshall Jr. Like it, bro. Yeah, like I said, I don't know. I want to see Sam Darnold do well. I'm rooting for underdogs a lot of times.
Yeah.
So, all right. Let's go on to the Zack Moss, Devin Singletary dilemma. Last year we made a video, or I clipped a video from the podcast about Devin Singletary, and then now there's a lot of people freaking commenting on it saying, like, this is a dumb take. I'm like, this is from last year, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 2020, it's 2021 now. So let's talk about Zack Moss, Devin Singletary. What do you like?
Yeah, so the reports out of camp are that Zack Moss he looks like the best running back or the better running back out of the two. Like you said, you kind of have a 1A, 1B scenario there with Zack Moss and Devin Singletary, but the beat writers are coming out saying that Zack Moss looks like the better running back out of the two. So, if you had to choose one, you got Zack Moss going in the 7th round, and then you got Singletary going in the 9th round. So they're pretty close. if you're gonna pick one or the other, who would you?
I would probably end up taking Zack Moss, to be honest. Because 7th round is still, it's like this, it's the same, and if it's based off of everything we're reading and everything that's coming out, it seems like he's going to be the number 1. It looked that way when I was watching in previous years or last year. So that being said, like it's, to me, it looks like it's trending towards that direction. So yeah, I'm going to go Zack Moss. 2 rounds seems like a lot in the first 5, but it's not a lot in the last, in the bottom of the 10 rounds.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And those bottom rounds, the 2 rounds is not a lot of time. You can, I'll take them 2 rounds ahead.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. If I'm going to take one or the other, I'm going to take Zack Moss. I'm not sure how many shares I'll have of Zack Moss or Devin Singletary. Just seeing as how, I think this is more of like I don't want to say a pass-first offense, but, this offense runs through Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs.
It's a pass first, then Josh Allen runs second, then Zack Moss or Devin Singletary
100%, yeah, 100%. So, it's just tough because those goal line touchdowns, they're getting snaked by Josh Allen. But if they do get close, like it is a long season because they had the extra game. I think if they're going to pick one of the two out of Singletary and Zack Moss, I think Zack Moss has a better chance of being the goal line back. So I do think this Bills offense is going to be pretty good. I hate saying that as a Dolphins fan, but there's going to be a lot of red zone opportunities. Yeah, there're going to be a lot of red zone opportunities, a lot of goal line opportunities, and I think when they get in close, Zack Moss is going to have more opportunities than Devin Singletary. So I'm not mad at taking a shot at Zack Moss in like the 7th, 8th round. For me, he's kind of like. I guess if you're really stacking up on some wide receivers and, you go tight end early and you're kind of looking for some.
You already got a quarterback or something.
Yeah, you're looking for some late round or later round or middle round, I guess I could say, middle round running backs to kind of target that could just kind of, be like a plug-and-play option for you there. I'm not mad at Zack Moss because I think, he does have some touchdown upside to go along. And a guy who's capable of being a 3-down back. I mean, the guy can go out there and pass protect and, catch passes out of the backfield as well. So
by the way, we talked about him, so now something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna this podcast is gonna be useless.
Yeah.
Or this information. So yeah, that's Zack Moss, Devin Singletary. We both are on Zack Moss.
Yeah, both on Zack Moss. I'm not sure how many shares of Devin Singletary I'll have, to be honest with you, just because, like I said, I mean, a guy where
he might be a guy that you pick up on the, I don't know, like he gets dropped.
He's one of those guys where I'll let someone else take a shot on him and deal with that. And I mean, obviously, if anything happens to Zack Moss, Devin Singletary, we've seen when Devin Singletary gets the workload, he can put up some solid points for you there. But I think with Zack Moss there, and then obviously you got Josh Allen snaking some goal line touchdowns as well. I'm gonna be out on the Devin Singletary show there. But yeah, just some news there. Like I said, the beat reporters are saying Zack Moss looks like the better one of the two.
I'm with it. We got Carson Wentz. So what's the deal with this? Because from my knowledge, there's whether or not he gets surgery. Did he decide to get surgery or not?
Yeah, so he got surgery on the ankle.
Okay,
it's gonna be out 5 to 12 weeks. That was a couple weeks ago. So another scenario, kind of like the Michael Thomas, like they're saying he could return around week 5, give or take.
Yeah.
So I was kind of excited to see what Wentz could do. Obviously he had that like MVP kind of season where he was balling, and then he tore his ACL. That was when he had Frank Wright, and I think that's why Frank Wright went out and traded for him. To get him on there.
He had a really good rookie season, and then he took him to the Super Bowl, basically to the playoffs, and then hurt himself. And yeah.
I mean,
I agree. I was with you. I wanted to see what he could do with what he could do that Phillip Rivers could not.
Yeah. I mean, is this guy just injury prone? I mean, he just seems to always be getting banged up. And some players, they just, I don't know. I don't want to say
what
that
happens
they have
when
a
you're
curse or
redheaded stepchild, dude.
When you're Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton, no, because Andy Dalton does. I mean, he's not like.
Hey, Andy Dalton's still in the league.
Yeah, he's not. He's not over here tearing his ACL left and right.
Well, yeah, so he's gonna be out for a couple weeks. I mean, as far as their backups, I mean, you got Jacob Eason, who's I believe it's his second year quarterback out of Washington.
Bro, what's wrong with Brett Hundley?
And they got Brent Hundley, who they signed afterwards. So there's been some rumors, a little bit of chatter saying that, do they go out and they get Phillip Rivers to come back for one more year?
Yes.
I even saw a report. I think it was a fake Twitter account.
Yeah, that Twitter account, they get me all the time because they'll finesse the Twitter algorithm and get it to look like you'll get a notification saying breaking news.
Yeah. Phillip
Rivers comes back, whatever.
Well, what I saw when it was breaking news. Not breaking news, but it was like
he'll put breaking and then he'll put
the Colts
via Adam
Colts
Schefter
reached out. Yeah, is the Colts reached out to Andrew Luck about coming out of retirement.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one got a lot of people.
That one got me. I was like, oh shit, Andrew Luck's coming back. I was kind of getting hyped.
There was it's why? Because 70 people quote tweet it, and then it just everybody's like, oh, this fucking must be true, and then everybody replies to that, quote tweets that, and all of a sudden it gets all this traction, and then I get a fucking notification on my goddamn phone.
Yeah, but I thought that one was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
but funny. So he's gonna be out for a couple weeks. Probably won't be drafting Carson Wentz at all. But, I mean, what does this really do for these receivers here? I mean, you got T.Y. Hilton, who he was a buy-the-dip guy for Andre because he was going so late. I mean, he's going in the 12th, 13th round. And then you got Michael Pittman, who I know me and you, Mike, we personally like a lot. He's going in like the 9th, 10th round. So, I mean, now if you're going to have 5 weeks, give or take, with, Jacob Eason or Brent Hundley potentially, I mean, are you even taking a shot on these guys, or are you just – or is it kind of just like, oh, shit, next year? I'll wait till next year when they have Carson Wentz the full season. Because, they're not building that rapport. T.Y. and Michael Pittman, they're not building that chemistry and that rapport with Carson Wentz that they really need to gain. So it's a little sketchy to me. I'm not sure if I'm going to be having any shares of those guys, to be honest.
Yeah, it's looking rough. It's looking like kind of Dak Prescott backups. It's like you were even – at the beginning, I was a little bit iffy with Carson Wentz just because of like everything that's happened. And even when he has been playing lately, he's not been that great, anyways.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I'm kind of like fading a lot of Colts players, maybe running backs, but that's about it.
Yeah, I think it's like, for me right now, it's Jonathan Taylor, depending on where he falls. But people are drafting him pretty high.
Yeah, too high.
I'm not as high on Jonathan Taylor as most people are. I'm not saying that he's not going to be good or he's not going to be talented.
Yeah,
but,
definitely could be wrong on it, but I'm with you. It's a little bit too high for me.
But yeah, I'm not sure. The only Colts player or position I might have is I might have the Colts defense. That's about it. Colts defense is definitely.
Can I draft the Colts offensive line?
Yeah, one of the better ones. That's another thing too. I mean, Quentin Nelson, their All-Pro guard. He did the same thing that Carson Wentz did. So he just had surgery and he's out for 5 to 12 weeks. So just the Colts been getting hit with the injury bug pretty bad already.
Do you think that they made like a pact, like, bro, if you get the surgery, I'll get the surgery? Do you think that they were like, he's
definitely
not like Carson
Blood
Wentz?
brothers.
No, you know what happened is Carson Wentz seen Quentin Nelson get it, and he's like, bro, he got it. All right, dog, I gotta get this shit.
Yeah,
that's 100% what happened.
Well, yeah, that's just not good for the Colts offense as a whole. I mean, no Carson Wentz, and then you lose your All-Pro guard Quentin Nelson out as well. He won't be back for 5 to 12 weeks. That's another reason why I'm not as high on JT as most people are. When you lose an All-Pro offensive lineman, you're definitely going to see the effects that has on the offense and the offensive line as a whole. But
yeah, it makes me nervous, honestly, for speaking of offensive lines. It makes me nervous for Najee Harris for fantasy and just for the Steelers. But
always got to try to find a way to talk about the
Steelers.
Well,
I'm just saying because the offensive line is so young this year.
Yeah.
Anyways, poor Carson Wentz. Fucking. We got Deshaun Watson could possibly be traded. Not really sure at this point what's going to happen. If he stays in Houston, I think we'll all like that. We're kind of Brandon Cooks fanboys over here, but we both like the next guy we'll talk about also on the Texans now. What are your thoughts on Deshaun Watson? Do you think he'll be traded to Philadelphia like you were reading?
Yeah. So, there's been some rumors that, the talks between Philadelphia and the Texans have heated up. I'm assuming that they would need to trade Jalen Hurts, obviously, and a first-round pick and maybe another player or whatever to get this trade done. But, yeah, I mean, I think there's just too much bad blood going on over there with the Texans and Deshaun Watson. I mean, then you still have the whole fucking 74 cases that came out of nowhere. All of a sudden he wants to get traded.
Alleged, by the way.
But I don't know. It's just a tricky situation. I think his days as a Texan might be over. I mean, I guess if they are the Texans, they're not in a Super Bowl contender. It's almost like, okay, yeah, I get it. Maybe they do ship him away and they kind of just stack up a bunch of draft picks. They get Jalen Hurts potentially. There is still some rumors with Tua as well. Like, I seen one trade. It was so fucking stupid. It made me mad just even looking at how dumb it was. But it was like, it was the Dolphins trade Tua, Xavier Howard, and a first-round pick for Deshaun Watson. And I was like, why in the fuck would you do that?
No, that's
ridiculous. But anyways,
nobody even looked at that.
Yeah,
except for you. But I mean, there's no way.
But yeah, I mean, Deshaun Watson, like I said, just kind of keep an eye on it. He could potentially get traded. He came back to practice this week. He missed the whole first week. They said it was like an injury, but he was there, suited and booted at practice this last week. So we'll see what happens, as far as in these preseason games and whatnot. But yeah, I'm surprised why Brandon Cooks is so low. He's, last year he was a guy where, I had him in my top 20 He was going as like wide receiver 35 or something like that. But I think I had him at 15 or 16 overall. I can't remember what he finished. But I mean, Brandon Cooks, obviously Will Fuller was doing his thing, and Will Fuller, got hurt, and obviously that kind of opened the door for Brandon Cooks. But I mean, Brandon Cooks towards the tail end of the year was really killing it. I mean, the guy was 7-8 catches, 80 to 100 yards every single week, locked and loaded. But yeah, I do. Like I said, me and you, we both like Brandon Cooks there. Even if it is Jalen Hurts, I still do like Brandon Cooks for the value he has there. But yeah, even the next guy, they go out and they make a move, and they go out and they trade Anthony Miller from the Chicago Bears. I think they traded like a 4th round pick to get Anthony Miller. But here's a guy, when we first started doing the podcast, he was probably one of the first rookies that we looked at.
Yeah, but he's terribly underrated, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, just another thing where, he's going from Trubisky, obviously not the greatest quarterback, to, potentially Deshaun Watson.
He better hope that Deshaun Watson doesn't get traded.
Yeah.
Imagine he almost is with Justin Fields, and then he gets traded and Deshaun Watson leaves. What a fucking bummer that would be.
Yeah. But, I mean, if Deshaun Watson stays, give me all the Anthony Miller shares as possible, especially because they'll probably be going in the 10th round or later. Yeah, but give me all the Anthony Miller shares as possible, because they really don't have anyone behind Brandon Cooks. I mean, they go out. I mean, they have Kiki Cutie, who's at this point I feel like is just a depth guy. They draft Nico Collins from Michigan, who's going to be a rookie. I mean, I know Dre's a big Nico Collins fan. As far as the tight end position, they don't really have a big name there either. So to me, it's going to be the Brandon Cooks and Anthony Miller show if Deshaun Watson's there. Even if Jalen Hurts, they do make this trade when they pull it off with the Eagles. Even with Jalen Hurts, still give me some Anthony Miller. Like, I think the guy's super talented. I think he's one of the better route runners in the NFL. I know Anthony's big, on route runners and just, getting separation and getting open. So, yeah, I do like Anthony Miller a lot. Especially if Deshaun Watson's going to be there.
Totally. I'm 100% with you on that one. Yeah, man. Freaking Anthony Miller, dude. Sign me up.
Sign me up, dude.
Sign me up, dude.
Dude, sign it up, dude.
You know what else you should sign up for?
Just sign up for this fucking podcast.
Sign up to listen to this podcast. That's all we wrote, baby.
Yeah, but subscribe. Hit that little subscribe button if you made it this far. Kudos to you. If not, hit that like button. We got TikTok. We're going to be more active on TikTok, especially with the season coming around.
Yeah, if you need more shorter content, anyways.
Yeah, we got the Instagram as well. I think I'm going to start a segment called Tease Targets. Just some guys where these are. Nice. I'm basically just going to go over some guys that I'm personally going to be targeting in every single one of my drafts. And you know what the hardest thing about doing this is like I genuinely enjoy doing this. Like, I have fun. I love football. For the most part, I feel like I know.
Figure out what you.
Yeah, like. I feel like I know what I'm fucking talking about. But it sucks sometimes giving the advice and like, hey, go draft this player, because now when I'm in the drafts, people snake me. They'll go out and get these players that maybe if I wasn't saying anything, they wouldn't draft them. Or on the flip side, if we're in the season and I hit someone up for a trade, I'll be like, hey, like, trade me this player. They'll be like, no,
what do you know?
Why? Why do you want him?
What do you know?
Well, if you want him, then I'm going to keep him, because if you want him, then he must be good.
There's one guy in our league I know, in the Marquee League, I know what you're talking about.
But I don't blame him. He does it to me
too, and I'm like, dude, I'm not even the guy, dude.
Yeah, I don't blame him, but so it's fun to do this. I enjoy doing it, but at the same time, it kind of hurts me sometimes in these leagues, because I'm basically giving you my
here's my new segment.
Success.
This is how I play fantasy. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Go check everything out and boop bop bop.
Yeah, and like I said, drop a comment if you want to be in the mock draft. Maybe just
let us know.
Maybe just comment mock draft. Mock draft in the comments, and then we'll pick a couple people depending how many we get.
We'll reach out to you.
We'll tell you to do a mock draft with us. Next time we do one of those mock draft episodes. I think the mock draft episodes are probably some of the best episodes that we can do.
For sure.
But that's all she wrote, dude.
That's all she wrote.
We hitting this outro button, dude?
Yeah.
This music?
Yeah, it's coming through. Also,